Oh, hey everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody can see and hear me okay. Welcome to my photo editing live stream where you can send your pictures in and I edit them for you live. And also I put my picture out there for you guys to edit one of mine. So it's always fun to see what we do with each other's pictures. And it's not, like I said, I do my best. I try and do them quickly in about 4 or 5 minutes, just to kind of give you a starting point, I guess, or also, I like to share my thoughts on, what I was thinking while I was doing the editing and hopefully give you a few pointers. Hi, Ellie. I need to put her out. Hold on. Let's go. Come on. All right. I thought she would be good and just stay on her bed, but she's gonna start, bothering me to eat. I just fed her too, but it's never enough. Anyhow, good morning. Let's see who's here. Jonas, Victor, Jeff, Raho, good to see everybody. Demorkin, good to see you. Marcus, and Nadelso Hernandez, good morning. That's a new name. I don't remember seeing you here before, so welcome if this is your first time. Yeah, Ellie's banished, She's really high maintenance. When I'm doing these streams and stuff. Usually she's pretty good, but today she's a little bit hyper, so I'm gonna let her stay outside. I think because the weather's so nice out, she just wants to go out and play in the backyard. And I have a pretty big backyard, so she likes chasing the squirrels and the birds and everything. And she's probably hungry, wants to catch her own food, maybe. And okay, so let me go ahead and get started. Hopefully, you guys, if you haven't sent your picture in yet already, I probably have time to do a couple more. So if you want to send them in now, I'll get to them after I finish the ones that are here already. And let me go ahead and arrange my screens. And I updated Workspace to version 4.1, and it's been a little flaky. It keeps crashing on me. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get through them today in Workspace all the way. But I'll try. Okay, I'm just setting up the screens. All right, very good. And you want me to do a critique on yours instead of editing? Okay, I can do that, Morgan. And hello, Rob. How are you? Good to see you again. Yeah, your macro photography is really next level now. I don't know, the last month or so, man, they're just excellent. On your Instagram. So if you guys want to see some great macro photography, check out Rob Shoot Photos on Instagram. It's you won't be disappointed. And Plato's here. Good to see you. Danny Drake, good morning. Oh, that's another name I haven't seen before. So welcome to the stream. Or I've just forgotten. If so, I'm sorry. Okay, I got my screens up. I think, let's see, if I do this, yes. We're all set. So it looks like just 10 images. Okay. We'll start here with Raho. And awesome. We have a dog. And this is so weird. Why are there chairs in the middle of the woods? Or maybe this is your backyard, but a little motion blur on the dog. Let's see, EM5 Mark II with a Panasonic 14-140. And you're at 1/60th of a second. So that explains the motion blur in the dog. But other than that, I think if it wasn't for this dog, the exposure is fine. All the settings here. But when you have animals, you have to be closer to 1/200 to 1/500, depending how much they're moving around. But let's see. In this scene, so clearly we have these red chairs and this dog, or it's sort of the subject, the story of the image. And he just came across, so it's not even your dog, is it? So I guess, let me see. I'm going to get rid of this bright area up here. And let's go to square format. And let's just put them in the upper left. Maybe keep that tree. I can't get them into this is the problem. We have some, I'm trying to get some asymmetry here, but this tree is awesome over here, but it's maybe more of a vertical. Let's see how that looks. I don't like that either. I'm trying to avoid the highlights. Let's go back to a wide. Avoid these branches. Oops. Avoid these branches on the end. Nah, we'll leave them there. I think that's the composition I'll go with. And since the dog is blurry, I'm just going to go soft focus to kind of mitigate some of the busyness in the scene. You know, all the leaves and sticks and twigs everywhere. And then from there, I will pull in some contrast. Like so. Let me add about an 8 on the vignette. And Noel is here. Hey, Noel. And let me tilt this a little bit. Okay, now the question is, what do we do about this color? I need a little more red in the color, like in the leaves. Maybe I can push the reds a tiny bit. Okay. It's a bit too much. There. And Marcus Prime, hello. You just emailed one. Okay. If you mean uploaded one, that's where I'll look. If you emailed it to me, I'll have to check my email. I'm not sure about this background. Let me just adjust this filter. Okay, I'm going to warm it up a tiny bit, and I think that's all I can do here. All right. So we got that, we got that. All right, so there's the before and after. It's a tough picture. The the framing is just a little bit off for me. I couldn't recompose this in a way that was a little more pleasing. I was trying to balance the tree with this really strong red chairs and the dog, and then soft focus to kind of minimize some of the busyness of all the sticks and branches and leaves. But okay, there we have it. Not bad for just a quick catch. I mean, the red's a little exaggerated, but that's okay. Let's try another one. See if I have better luck here. And some of these are from last week. I think 3 of them are from last week, so hopefully you're back. Yeah, one of the grab shots, right? Still, it's an interesting picture. It's a good memory either way, right? Okay, so we just need a little straightening. Let's look at the EXIF real quick. EM5 Mark III, 40 to 150 Pro, f5.6, 1/100th. Yep, all good settings. And you're at 40 millimeters. Yep, excellent. So good settings for this exposure. Let's straighten it out. And I'm going to get rid of the left side here, so maybe I'll go vertical. And just somehow try to have give a little balance on that tree. Yeah, I think that works. And then let's crank up some sharpness, noise filters off. And I'm going to see where the tones are. This might help, but it might jack it up too. It's okay. That's a little heavy. How about a pop art? Good colors. These are a little blown out, so what I might have to do is let's go back. Let's bring the exposure down a bit, because in Workspace, and I say this every time, but Workspace is not great at recovering highlights, so I have to lower the exposure and then push the shadows up to bring the highlights back in. So those of you that are new, that's what I do in Workspace. So you see how much better that is in there? Now we can see the tones. Let's give it a little clarity. Just so we can bring out some more detail. Okay. And I'm going to vignette it down to about an 8. And then add a little drama with some shadows. Whoops, that's the wrong button. Or wrong channel. I need to do all 3 channels at once. And it feels like it's a little golden hour because of these long shadows, so I'm going to warm it up too. So it's okay if the shadows are a little heavy. And let me check that to make sure that's working. And let's warm it up quite a bit here. just to give it a more golden hour kind of feel. A little more. Okay. And I need to pull a little bit of the greens out. Maybe I'll just do that with a magenta. Let me just crank a little magenta in. Too much. I just felt like there was a little bit too much green tint here, which is, you know, just basically all the grass and everything reflecting onto it. But all right, still some clipped highlights here. Let's go down a little more. Yeah, I'm not saving those. So these are gone, at least in workspace. Lightroom could probably bring it back. All right. I need a little more crispy, so I'm going to add my own sharpening here. Just start with 1 pixel and 10. And okay. And just a little heavier vignette. And what if I just touch on the warming filter? All right. I think that's a good starting point. It's a little bit too much sharp, a little bit over sharpened, so I'm going to back that off, but I think we're good. All right, let's end it there. Annette, hello. Good to see you. All right, so there's the before and after, and it needs to render, but there we go. There's the final render. So this I just felt like with the long shadows, it was more of a golden hour shot. So I decided to drop the exposure, increase the contrast, and warm it up quite a bit. And now I feel like this is a little more pleasant scene. I mean, the only other effect is to go full on opposite with a soft filter, which I think would look good too. I'd have to darken it a little bit more. Let that render out, but that'll look good too, I think. Once it renders. No, that looks like crap. Never mind. So we'll take that off. And that'll re-render. The only other thing I can comment on is, you know, I went with the vertical just to give that, you know, just to get rid of some of the busyness here on the left side, all these twigs, and then this brush over here on the right side. And then I cropped it so that this line or this corner lines up to kind of lead your eye and frame the scene. So you have this bridge or whatever this is sort of being framed by the tree and this bushes down here. And then the warm look. And I think that looks pretty good on a vertical. And I did cut off this, but these things are not that important. This is really a separate image over here. We can already see one of the statues here. So the other thing I like to do when I'm editing is, you know, I like to try to keep as much information about the picture or the scene that I can, but no more than I need, right? And I think I got everything in here. All right, Marco's here. Hey, Marco, good to see you. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. Oh, wow, this is from Novak. And he used a unknown, no EXIF data. Oh, it's a JPEG. So this is a critique only shot I see here as it's named down here. Yeah, so for me, I think the editing's pretty good. I'd have liked to have seen a little more drama in the sky. You know, usually it's clarity, I guess, or dehaze will do that. And yeah, just a little more. And then I'd warm it up a little bit because the shot's kind of cool. Maybe about there. And all these wires down here and this satellite dish and everything is very distracting. So I would definitely crop all of that out and just focus on right there. Because I know based on where you're standing, you may not be able to get a point of view that's not going to have all these wires in it. But yeah, just a little more drama in the sky, and a little bit warmer here because again, it's like it's a golden hour kind of shot, right? So I would tint the clouds a little bit magenta and yellow to kind of add to the sort of the warm feeling I got down here. And I know that changes the whole vibe to something a little warmer because the mountains are cold. They got snow on them and everything. So you may want to go the other direction, right? But that would be my critique here is just mainly all this busyness down here. And the picture is very heavy on the bottom with all that red. So the balance is kind of off in terms of colors. There's just way too much red roof. So I try to minimize that so the roofing, like I did here on the right side, the roofing is framing the main subject here. The only other thing is the way the clock is facing to the left, so I'm having it face into the scene. So I recropped it. I didn't see that at first. So I would frame it so the clock is facing into the scene and try to minimize as much roof and mess at the bottom and then frame it that way. That would be my critique on that. And then fix the dust spot, of course. That's it. Okay, but it's really a nice picture, I think. It just needs a little bit. Maybe this is almost a full-on edit, but I'm not gonna. Maybe just a square crop, just to minimize that roof. Yeah, that works better for me. So now the red down here is more of just a minimal foreground framing the subject, a little more drama in the sky, and then warm it up just a tad. You know, if you're using Lightroom or something, I would add like a grad filter and just warm up this sky a little bit. But okay. And Noel says, oh, this must be yours, right? Is golden hour. Yes, the perspective is a bit chunky. It was taken from the rail tracks. Couldn't do it any other way. Yeah, I know exactly, right? You know, you can't help where you're standing. Sometimes you don't have any choice, but you want to get the shot, right? Because it's kind of it's really a beautiful church here with this clock and everything. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, this is from Phil, titled Log, appropriately so. EM10 Mark II with, looks like he adapted a Canon 70-300 with a focal reducer. Hence the very shallow depth of field, wide open, 1/640th of a second, ISO 200. So I think all the settings seem fine. my problem here is the subject to me. It'd be nice if there was a squirrel or something setting here, then the background can be sort of a backdrop. But right now the background is half the picture. So I don't really need all of that. I think I'm gonna try and get some of these leaves down here. Let me see what that looks like. Ah, they're blurry, so we can't do that. And if we stay on a 4x3, minimize some of that foreground. Jacknack, oh my goodness, it has been a while. Good to see you, always. Let me try and center it. Let's see, we got this twig, but it's blurry. We got these. Let's see if the pop art can bring some life in there. Yeah, I like that. And, oh, no problem, Noel. I try. You know, that's just my point of view, right? Nobody, you know, everybody has, I think, a very good perspective, you know, has their own perspective, I should say. So don't let my critique influence you too much. It's helpful sometimes though to see how someone else sees the scene, right? You always should have your own vision on your photos. I mean, maybe all the wires and the satellite dish and everything has some story in of itself. I would have framed it differently to do that, but you know, there's something there too. But the church was so beautiful, you know, it's kind of hard to not look at the church and then be distracted by the rest of the frame. Let me just pull this back just a little bit, and then we're going to do some vignetting. I'm going to do a pretty heavy vignette. About there. Okay, let's pull some shadows. Let's do unsharp mask. Oh, let's turn off this filter. We'll start with a 1 and a 10. Maybe some clarity. Or dehaze, let me see. And let's go a little bit dark theme. Okay, let that render out. I think I'll end it there. So there's my before and after. So again, you know, I think there's some great colors here. This red and green mix really well. So these reds kind of accent all of the green everywhere in the frame. And but I had to get rid of this part down here. It was just distracting to me in the frame, and it's not necessary. It'd have been nice if you got a little closer and got this little vine or whatever growing as the subject of this scene. Then you could use the rest of the scene as a backdrop with that shallow depth of field. But as it is, there's no predominant subject here. It's just kind of a snapshot of a log. And the log in of itself is not that interesting. But, you know, in a slight crop, and I think the vertical was the right choice. So, oh, you know, it could be a little bit warmer. I just like warm, fuzzy pictures. Maybe about right there. Yeah. Yeah. I think that'll do it. That needs to render. And then, of course, sharpening, turn off the noise filter. And then just frame the tree with just the color around it, you know. But okay, let's end it there. Let's go to the next one. And we have, oh, yeah, image writer. This is nice. I always like these tree shots when you look straight up. I just like how, you know, you're just drawn into the frame from every corner and every side of the image. And wow, I used an 8mm fisheye. Congratulations. I didn't know you had one. You must have got that recently. I would have shot it like f5.6 instead of f1.8. But other than that, I think, 'cause man, your shutter speed's way up there. You could have stopped down a bit. So let's just go black and white on this. I need to move this there. Okay. So I'm going to go black and white, full on monotone. And let me just look at it full frame or full screen. So you did focus way up here. God, everything's in focus, but okay. I'm going to just do a ton of contrast here. I want to really silhouette everything. And then what did you do on sharpening settings? We'll make it a little bit sharper. I don't want to do too much because when you have very fine branches and things, you don't want to start to get any kind of halo effect from over sharpening. So I'm just going to do a little bit this time instead of my normal just crank it. And then let's see if we can center this off a bit. And let's that's a little bit off balance, it feels like. Yeah, right there. And then I'm going to just split tone it. Maybe let's work with the red channel. No, let's work with the green channel. So we're going to pull the highlights down to a little bit of a magenta. Just a touch. Nah, that doesn't look right. Let me go to the blue channel. What if I push, just make it a little cooler? All right, I'm going to call it there. So there's a before and after. I think the landscape, you know, the landscape crop works just as well as my square crop. So that's just that didn't really add anything to the picture by squaring it off. But I definitely wanted to try to silhouette the trees a little bit more, and then blow out the sky as much, because I can see some cloud detail in there, but I don't think there was enough that I need to keep it. Because if I tried to keep the cloud detail in there, I feel like I would start to get halos and things around the branches, and that's what I want to try to avoid when I have scenes like this, is avoid any kind of halo effect that you might get. But okay, I think it's a really nice shot though. All right. Oh, and that there's a link down below of this stream that you can submit your photos to, because I didn't get too many today, so you can submit one. I can easily get to it today. And oh, John Yutze has some instructions there. Those are valid. All right, so we have here from Matt, nice winter ice scene. So it must have had a sleet or something. That I always love these when that happens. It happened once this year, and I didn't take any pictures because by the time I was ready to take pictures, it all melted off. All right, let me see if I can save any colors. This is interesting. I like this red and green, and I can see you framed it with this little stream. It's not really a stream, but so I'm going to go with the vertical and see if I still need all of that green. I like the green on the right, though. Let me see where. If I can save. If I do front and center, what does that look like? And a slight tilt. And I just need a little more crispiness. I don't want to dehaze because I like the soft focus in the background. I'm going to turn off this noise filter. And I'm going to try and cool it off a little bit. Just in the highlights. So I like, and then we'll warm it up in the midtones. So I don't want to lose that cold feeling. Yeah, there we go. Nice and cool in the background now. All I did was adjust the blue channel. And then let's see if we can just add a little more. Maybe clarity will do it. I'm trying to get the tree to be a little bit more specular. Okay, let's see. It's getting there. A little more tilt. And we'll stay centered, front and center. Oh, I wish I could do a little negative dehaze. If I soft focus it, I could do a minimum. Oh, I already applied a pop art though. So let me add a little more saturation. Let me see what a low key gradation does. Yeah, that's too dark. If I push the shadows myself, no. Let me go back to a normal. And I need a little bit more in the highlights. Maybe that'll get it to look a little softer. A little bit more right there. Some more clarity. I wish I had a little more headroom on top of the tree, but I think I'll call it right there. Some vignette and I'm done. right there. There's more headroom in the original. Not much. Maybe a pixel more headroom. Come on, Plato. There's like one more pixel up there of headroom. It's hardly anything there. But anyway, a bit off the bottom. Then it may be a little too tight, but let's try it. Maybe we can balance out some of the... A little bit tighter. Yeah, that works. All right, I'm going to call it there. So we'll let that render out. Almost there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's a little bit too sharp, though. Let me go back the other way. So instead of soft focus, I'll just dial in some negative sharpness and see. Ah, image writer. So I just totally forgot you had an 8mm. I see. Okay. Yeah, I guess that works. All right. Yeah, I just love the reds and greens, or the orange and greens there, and then the fade off to the background, and then a slight tint to blue to cool it off, so it does feel cold, even though it's very warm in the foreground. So I think for a quick edit, that's not bad. I like the image on the left still a lot too, like a very muted kind of look. I think that would work too. Just keep the image on the left, but just crop it vertically, and that would look good too. I bet. Instead of this pop art, just go with a soft focus. So you get kind of a more misty, cool feeling of winter. That's just another way to go. But you know, when you have a great image, you can easily go in all different directions with it, right? I could go full on monochrome with this image too, I think. Or go with the strong pop art color, and then this muted kind of soft focus looks good. So it all looks good. It's a great picture. Good job, Matt. Let's go to the next one. And this is John Follows. Looks like some people are building some little like tents or something, teepee tent. I don't know. I see these all the time. People are building these little stick things next to the trees. I don't know why. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but anyway. And it's not really golden hour, but in this picture, I think if we warm it up, or no, there's moss on this tree. I hate moss. If the moss covers the entire tree, or like 80% of it, then I like it. But when it's like 50-50 here, it just drives me nuts. So I'm gonna just go monochrome on this, because I no matter what I do, the moss is gonna distract me, and that's a personal choice again. But in a green filter, let's see if we can brighten up the moss a little bit. No, green filter didn't help much. And I think trees, generally, I like to do verticals. Because this is... If this bush wasn't here, I'd go with that one. I'm going to go with this one. Right there. and come off a little bit on the left for balance. Okay, let's do really strong vignette. And soft focus it. And then let's work with the curves a bit. That is not working. It's just too bright back here. If we do... Oh, I didn't want dramatic tone, dummy. Hold on. I wanted to try just a grainy. Reset this. No, the only other option might be a gentle sepia. I hate sepia. Don't tell Lauren. I hate sepia. Let's just go back to my original idea here with mono. John, you like the sepia? I don't know. I just couldn't deal with it. All right. Last thing would be to just work with this tone curve a little. It's just so bright. I mean, if I went low contrast, no. I think that's all I can do. So I'll end it there. Maybe split tone it. People seem to like a little bit of split toning. We'll do the sepia split tone. So I'll just keep a little bit of blue in the highlights, but then pull in some sepia color look. And we'll go with that. Okay, now I'm done. All right, so gosh, this looks like, what is this? Okay. Yeah, the two tents side by side is just too busy. And the one on the left had no bushes around it. This one on the right, this little tent thing here on the right just has this bush here, which is very distracting. And then, like I said, I don't like this moss kind of on and off everywhere in the frame. So just go black and white. That helps me out a lot. And then just framing this one by itself, I think works. It just simplifies the scene a little bit because it's so busy in here. This will be a lot more interesting picture if it's a little darker and a lot more leaves on the trees. And then do a very shallow depth of field type shot. Okay. Oh, John, how are you, John? Yeah, I'm not liking the moss. That is 100% accurate. All right. Let's see. Jeff Painter. I'm standing on a hill. looking down, and this is all in shadow. Yeah, I'll go back. I'm almost done with the basic editing. I'll go back and grab everything that's come in since I started. Man, it's been almost an hour already. Holy crap. You know what it is I don't have my timer on. Let's look at quick look at the EXIF. EM1 Mark II, 12 to 40 Pro. Yep, all looks good. Dialed in a -1. Good idea. So let me bring in some color. And either that or soft focus. I like that a little better. Just crank that up a notch. Throw in some vignetting. If I don't like moss, don't open it. Hey, Randy, how are you? It's okay. If I go to black and white, the moss is fine. It disappears, right? Let's really pull this in. Just add a little bit here. And then I'm going to frame this vertical again. Like I said, whenever I have trees, I just prefer verticals. And we don't want too much shadow, but I do want to frame. It'd be nicer if the people were walking to the bridge instead of away from it. Oops. And let's warm it up. No. Okay, just have them come off the bridge. A little bit of shadow to frame. Two trees up here on the right. Let's go a little bit wider. Okay, let me just bring in a little more crispiness. Pull that off a notch. Need to pull off a little green. The greens are where? Right there. Let me just pull a little bit off. You like the natural vignette, huh? Jeff Painter says he likes the natural vignette. Let me just look at it again. If I was going to save that aspect of it, I would definitely, I would come in about that much. But No, I think I liked. I need a little more contrast here. I don't know. I kind of liked. I kind of liked. I liked my original crop here. All right, I'm going to end it there. Um, yeah, so I see where Jeff is coming from, though. The natural vignetting of the trees around it could have worked. I just don't see it that way, though. But I could see where you're trying to make that work, but it didn't work for me. So I just went with front and center. What the subject was is these people walking off a bridge. Like I said, it'd been cooler if they were walking onto the bridge into a frame or something, but um, I do like the wide crop too, though. Your original framing is interesting. Let me just explore that idea real quick. Let me go back. What I'd have to do is I'd have to bring them up a little bit, pull off my vignette a little bit more. And then not did those harsh shadows and make it a little bit warmer. So, I mean, that's the other way, right? That kind of keeps the natural vignetting of the trees maybe just a tiny bit tighter, just off of that. You know me, I don't like these loose ends on the sides. So if you wanted to go with Jeff's original idea of framing it with the natural, you know, uh, shadows and everything, that's another way to do it. Okay. Yeah, that's another way to do it. So I just cropped out this little bit of light here, cropped out the right side of this tree so that it actually now frames everything. And then I'd have to pull just a little bit off the highlights. But there we go. All right, let's do the next one. You like that better, Jeff? Okay. I appreciate where you're going with that, though. The sort of the natural framing rather than forcing it with a crop. All right, here we have a marina. Um, good detail here. 14 to 150 kit lens, or with a PL6. Awesome. So I bet, and then exposure 160 at f4. This is all fine. ISO 500 makes sense. So I think you got that right. I can't complain about that. Uh, the U-boats. I watched the whole. I watched a documentary on U-boats during World War II. Really fascinating. All right. That may be too much. I need to pull off some of the blue, so I'll do that. I'll do that later. Compositionally, I feel like Oh, this is John. This is a JPEG, so I'm gonna have a little trouble with the white balance. I was gonna pull off some of the blue with the white balance, but I'm gonna have a hard time getting there with this. I might have to put on a warming filter instead. Let me try that. Yeah, that's working. Yeah, when you have white balance issues in a JPEG, you know, you have to go with some kind of filter, color filter sometimes to get it. Because adjusting these aren't gonna cut it sometimes. Let me back off a little bit. And let's do a little bit of gradation. So I'm going to crank this up and pull the exposure down. Why is it so cold in here? Man. It's supposed to be like 68 degrees today, but it's not quite there yet. My room here is 58 right now. It's weird. I'm starting to adapt to the warm weather already. 58 used to be nice and toasty for me. Let me pull the exposure down some more. All right, I think that's good. Then I'll do the rest with a tone curve. So I really want to golden hour this shot. Right there. Okay. And compositionally, basically you're doing a reflection shot, right? So you crop this intentionally 16:9? No. What is it, 3:2? Yeah, 3:2 crop. So what that camera did you use? PL6. That's weird. 3:2. Let's just take a little off the top, just so it balances with the bottom. Come on. Go right in there. And put a clarity. Let's see if I can get any sky detail in. Not really. Oh, hey, Corna, how are you? Let's not do that. All right, now this orange over here has to go, so I got to tint that a little bit. Let me tint the orange. It needs to be less red, so let's try that. Just a very subtle, a little bit more. And then I like these magentas and purples. Let me see if I can crank those up. All right, I'm going to call it there. I went way over again. Let's, too much risotto. Let's take a look at it here before and after. So again, it's this whole building is in the shade, and the only light is really reflecting off the building. But it's just a hair past golden hour, right? If you'd have got there like maybe 30 minutes sooner, it'd have probably been a lot more fascinating. You would have got more light onto the boats, you know, good strong lighting onto the boats, and then you would have to underexpose it slightly, so you save the details and not clip the highlights and everything. But I think my big head's in the way, but I think that looks pretty good. I mean, and then I just accentuated all these weird colors in this building. Why? How is that possible? This is really fascinating. What an amazing marina. My God. I wonder what a slip fee cost every month there. But that's a great shot. Oh, thanks, Jack Knack. Hope you like it, John. Let's see. We have some, looks like cherry blossoms. Or no, these are just these normal flowers. I don't know. I'm not a plant person. What do we shoot with here? EM1, 78 millimeters. Wow, that's weird. 1/180th. Okay, normal settings there. Oh, good. I'm glad you like it, John. I try. Okay, so we got some weird white balance things going on here. Oh, DeMorgan, I think you said you just wanted me to critique this, right? So yeah, I would say I don't like this tint of green on these flowers, because I'm pretty sure these flowers are a little bit warmer. So I'd warm up this image and get rid of some of the green. They're pear blossoms. Okay, thank you. And then you got some little bugs in here. So in the framing, front and centers, I don't think that works here either. And the other problem I have is this very bright background here is competing with the flowers. So I would definitely, I would just crop. I would have framed this in a way that I would have less of this bright background in the scene. Something like that. Sometimes you can't get it though, right? You can't frame it that way. And that's one challenge I have. I guess these are trees and then that's sky in the background. So you have this depth of field to try to do this subject separation, but then the separation in terms of light is not there. So it kind of cancels out the subject separation. The depth of field is canceled out by the light in the background being brighter than the subject itself. And then this green tint I'm not crazy about, so I would definitely white balance it. Somehow. So I think that's good. Just a little bit. I mean, like I said, I don't have a feel for what the true colors are, but I don't think I lost too much color. So that's my general critique is that I don't feel like the subject is separated from the background well enough, is the main problem. If it was a completely black background, this would have worked a lot better. So the way to do that would be with a flash, right? And the flash will give you a lot better texture and everything on the petals. So that's where you know, if you had a flash with you, that would have been the way to go, is to pop a flash on this to darken the background, keep that shallow depth of field, and then with the flash, you'll get a very accurate white balance as well, so that you'll see the true colors of the flowers. And I think that works. And then framing wise, I would just do something more asymmetrical instead of front and center. And that's it. Okay, so that's my critique on that. All right, so let me grab. Let's see. I need to open another window here. Some people said they sent some more stuff in. Oh, hey, Ken Machine, thank you. Where's my folder? So Marcel sent one in. Save that there. Oh, Marcel sent in a Fujifilm. Jack Knack sent one in. Oops. Or Jacob, I'm sorry. Jack Knack Jacob. Steve G sent one in. And one more from, I can't read that, but I will download it. Okay, so let's see if those came in. So it's this one. So only one of those was actually an Olympus image, it looks like. I don't know why the JPEG is not coming in. I'm a little confused. So when I click download, this pops up. Let me do file, save as, maybe. Oh, it's going into my Instagram folder. So I need to put it here. 100%. All right. Okay, that should do it. So I have this one, and then two more in Lightroom. So this one's from Steve G. And Annette, you sent one. I didn't see yours, Annette. I didn't see yours come in yet. I'll wait for it though. Let's see. We have a bird, so we need to do a little bit of sharpening. And we shot this at EM1X with the 300 f4, ISO 800, and a tiny bit of exposure comp. So good settings. Wow, this bird was way out. It's like barely in the frame. There's barely any of it left. There's a ton of let's do that. And looks like a little rain or dust in here too. Let's pop art it. And then we'll just start with this. Let's not do it that way. Let's do it this way again. Okay, I need to punch in and see how this sharp. I'm going to turn off this noise filter. Okay, so let's try a 10. If I turn this off, okay. We need a little more on the radius. Let's double it, 1.4. Okay. And let's go to about a 6000K. Let's pull off some of the color this way. And I'll come in a little tighter. And I think that's it. How did I do on the sharpening down here? It's a tad bit over sharpened if you punch into 100%, like 1-to-1, but can I do anything else here? No. Let me go back to standard. Yeah, that didn't help. I'm just seeing a tiny bit of color noise in here because I oversaturated it. But I think it's okay. It's not ideal. All right, let's just compress the scene a little bit. Okay. And just a little, this is fine. I'm going to have to go back to a standard noise filter. I just want to soften up some of the color noise that I added by oversaturating from the pop art. Okay, I'm going to go with that. I just feel like it's too saturated. Let me do it this way. What if I... Okay. All right, now I'm done. That's better. The pop art was just too strong. It was just adding, it was adding too much noise in the background. So, all right, let's do a before and after. I think that works. So I went to Vivid and cranked up the saturation. But, and then, the sharpening worked out. Even though I had to go back to a standard noise filter. I might be able to turn that off now, actually. Now that I don't have the pop art, let's go back to off. Since I pulled the saturation off, yeah, that's fine. Let that render out. And that should soften up quite a bit. Yeah, it's coming in. What an awesome lens. I envy you. I really want that lens myself. But okay, I think that looks pretty good. It's not oversaturated, so the noise is not crazy. And just a touch on the sharpening. That's where I really had to spend most of the time, was making sure the sharpening didn't get over-sharpened. And now we can see a little bit of specular in the bird's eye too, which some of the sharpening helped bring that out. And a slight warming to 6000K instead of 5600 or wherever it was. All right. Let's see. There was one more. You're welcome, Steve. This one is from this font that I can't read. Who is this? Are you here? What's your screen name? I can't read the thing. All right, so basically we have a JPEG. It's twilight. So you expose for the sky. EP5 with a 45 millimeter f1.8 wide open at 120. So yeah, it's twilight. It's really dark. ISO 1600. So I'm gonna go vertical on this and some gradation. So first, let me see how far I can get with gradation. Okay, that's bringing in a lot of noise, but I'm going to crop most of that noise out like this. And this tree on the left, maybe I'll save that. I like this tree. It's kind of interesting. And then these bushes are blooming. All right, let's work with the tone curve to get rid of, just to hide some of that noise. Wow, it's been over sharpened a bit. I don't have any noise filters here. So let's go to luminance. Let's see if we can bring the sky in. And I don't know, what does monochrome look like? I hate to take away, yeah. I hate to take away the colors because I know you're kind of going for that. But it's just so noisy down here. And if I vignette it, the problem is it's going to show in the sky. And that's not going to look right. And let me just warm it up this way. Okay, I think that's all I can do. Let me just look at the framing again. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's do a before and after. Yeah, so this is the kind of shot you really have to bracket because it's so dark in the foreground. You can't bring the shadows up without a ton of noise. And plus this is a JPEG, so I'm a little bit limited in terms of bringing some of the colors in from the sky. But I'd like to have been able to bring more color in from this twilight sky. And then balancing it, I'm just trying to find a subject. I mean, I kind of like the tree. I like this tree line here. Right here. These trees are really interesting, but then there's this power cable here cutting them across. So what you could do is if you could walk up past this power line and do a wide shot of this tree line, this would be a lot more interesting. I'll try and show you what I mean. Just right in here. right? Not even that. Even tighter. Something like that to me would be more interesting. So if you get in closer and shoot wide, you'll get more sky and all the tones in the sky as well. But that wire is the problem. So that's what I would do. So let me go back to my original. Yeah, that's my original edit. So there's the before and after using what I got. Now I feel like the very dark trees and brush on the left balance with the light sky, and you still got the line. Okay. Let's go to Lightroom. I'm going to close Workspace down. Let's synchronize this folder. Okay, so I got to do this one and this one. This is from Marcel. Ah, really cool. Frame. Interesting. Interesting. I wish you were a little straighter on, or maybe it's an optical illusion, but no, the way this floor is. I'm gonna go with the sky. We need a little bit wider crop. And let's warm it up a little bit more. Let me click auto here. I need to bring in, what if I do this? Just go a little bit muted. Okay. But I do want to bring the sky down a bit. Saturate it maybe a tiny bit more. Okay. And some dehaze. Bring out some drama. Tiny bit of clarity. And some sharpness. And let's bring up the shadows a tiny bit. Okay, a little bit warmer. Pull back here. Yeah, it needs a little straightening, doesn't it? just it's just weird all the way around. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can bring in a little bit more. Yeah, everything's tapered, right? It's just a weird structure. I mean, it would have helped if you shot it straight on, so your focal plane was not focal plane, but your sensor was completely flat or parallel with the structure itself. But it's because if I try to do any kind of deskewing or keystoning, I guess that's not bad. Let me reposition a little bit. I didn't want to do that, but that helps. It helps me anyway. All right, I'm going to call it there. So create a virtual copy, reset. And compare. All right, so there's the before and after. Ooh, it looks really strong on my screen, but let me just pull the saturation back a little bit. There. All right. So there's the before and after. So just a tighter crop and warm it up and a little bit of keystoning, right? And I think it's good. More drama in the sky. It's an interesting shot. It'd just been nice if you were parallel with that structure. I think that would have helped a little bit, but other than that, it looks good. Okay. Because if we look at it by itself, I think that looks pretty good without me in the frame. And then there's a what was that key? I just learned a key or something. Not pick. CB, no. N, no. No. Sorry. None of these keys work. Okay, that's not what I want to do. All right, let's go to the next one. Barana, good to see you. Wow, this is a fisheye. Wait, this is a viewer edit. Okay, so we might as well get started on the viewer edits. Let's let me move that in here. Yeah, I don't know how to, I just hit every key on the keyboard and see what happens sometimes, and I know there's shortcut key maps and all of that, but I'm more of a visual learner, right? Hands-on. Okay, so the original image, let me show you guys the original image real quick. Oh, wait. Annette, I got yours here. Okay, hold on. Let me download yours. Let me do Annette's real quick, and then we'll get on to the viewer edits. Download. One more. So we have here. Oh, this is interesting. Still searching for the any key. What do we shoot with here? EM1 Mark II, ISO 400 f2.8, 60 millimeter macro lens. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, alt everything, right? And I'm trying to make a tutorial on black and white photography with Lightroom. So I'm finding all these new keys, but there was one key that I really liked. I hit it and it made this really nice, it framed the picture for me like a picture frame with just the tap of a key, but I don't know what key it was now. It's on here somewhere. Maybe this one? No, that's not it. So let me develop this. Okay. Annette, I think this almost looks like a double exposure the way, let me get out of this framing, the way this left corner is. I wouldn't change anything really. It's framed very tightly, good bokeh. The subject here is a little bit off center. Maybe just, let's see, let's click auto. No. Maybe just add a tiny bit more contrast. Like so. Just make it a little more dramatic. I mean, I'm working, I feel like this is a JPEG. Can't tell. No, this is a raw image. So, man, oh, it's a macro lens. That's why it's so tight. Maybe just a little more there. And let's clean up some of the color noise. Let's add some sharpening and a little masking. And that's it. I don't see anything else to do here. Let me pull off this. So there's just virtually no color separations. This is like a tungsten or something. What if I go... Oh, look at that. You can see some different colors in here now. Okay, so let's work with that. I'm going to crank up. There we go. Oh, I'm going to break my neck doing this one. All right, now, definitely the framing. I'm going to go right in here. We'll do the Fibonacci thing. A little bit lower. Okay. All right, texture, clarity, a little bit more in the shadows, maybe the blacks. Okay. I mean, I cropped it really tight. I don't know if that was the right decision or not. I just kind of like the detail in here, though. What if we went wide? Because this gives this is a little more interesting because there's so many of these Okay. I think that's it. The vertical crop worked, but I think this works too, the wide crop. So let's do a quick comparison. So there's the before and after. Man, it's hard to see. That's the original. And there's the... That's crazy, isn't it? Wow. But I think that works. It was just so yellow. And then when I took some of that yellow out, I think now we can see actually there's little red tips on the ends of whatever these things are. So, okay, very good. Let's go to the viewer edits. Yeah, need to go into here. And let me pull up the original. You like that strong yellow? Ooh, I didn't like that. It's moss. Oh, wow, that's fascinating. So maybe it's green then, right? Is it green moss and then the tungsten lighting just made it look yellow? All right, here's the original image. So I took this with the M10 Mark II with a 9mm fisheye lens, or 9mm body cap lens, which is kind of a fisheye. But because everything was so far away, the fisheye effect was pretty much negated. But yeah, this little fisheye lens, 9mm body cap is really amazing. You know, I just can't believe, you know, how sharp and everything that lens is. But okay, let's go to the viewer edits. There. White moss. Okay, so it is white. All right, so here's the first one. Okay, I love this crop. I think this is what I tried to do with it. I don't think I saved my edit of this. I'll try and find it, but yeah, I like this crop. And the processing is a little heavy on the greens, but other than that, it's, you know, I think it's good. Let's see. We have Jeff Painter. Okay, Jeff, thanks. That looks good. Let's see. Oh my God. Who the heck is this? This is the only thing I recognize is a little bit right here and right here, the grass. That's about all that's left of my picture. But that's pretty cool. Okay, Joni, thanks. Good job compositing, though. Really good. Looks pretty natural, more or less. Had some free time, huh? Yeah, this is a fun edit. I like it though. You did some little bit of light painting with the flames going on to the you know, just right in here. I see a little light painting kind of here and there. And good composite though. It looks like this guy's coming in from the clouds. The only thing I would have done differently is maybe dim this guy a little bit. So it looks like he's further back or a little bit hazy. Because now it looks like it was just kind of pasted in, right? But I think a little haze and then it would be perfect. All right. Oh, this is nice. I like this crop. Yeah, I like the wide crop on this image because it's just too much foreground, right? Too much grass, which isn't very interesting. And good job on the textures and the tones. The tones are really good. The greens are a little bit army green to me. But other than that, yeah, I like it. Okay, Matt, Nice, nice. Yeah, really good job on separating the tones in the mountains to give them more texture. That's really the best part of this image here. And then this one, oh my God. This looks like a this looks like a landscape in a really bad sci-fi movie. That's what it looks like. That I don't know why, but that kind of reminds me of that. But yeah, the tones and everything is pretty cool. Who did this? No, Novak. Okay, Novak. Interesting. I like the crop actually, and all the you kept all the drama in the sky, got rid of all the boring grass. He just kind of went overboard with the green a little bit, because now it looks almost like I said, a landscape of a sci-fi movie. But that's cool. And this one here, oh, I see. This one you were working with the textures or the tones of the different hues of the grass, right? And separated those really well. And then didn't do any cropping because you put so much work into the grass. But I get that. I get it. Let's see. Well, Syed, I haven't seen you in a long time. Thanks for sending that in. Good job on separating the hues of the grass. I like that. Let's see what else we got here. And the tones in the mountains look good too, but they're just so far away. It's hard to appreciate them as much. And yeah, this is close to what I did, I think, except I cropped a lot. Oh, excuse me. I cropped a lot wider. Not as much sky, but this is an awesome crop. And really good job on the black and white, separating all of the tones. And yeah, it's a good composition of this particular image. Raho, good job, Raho. This is really nice. I bet this would look really good just kind of like this rather than... Man, I wish I could find that other key. But anyway. Yeah, this is great. This is like a composite of two pictures. It's a little, oh, excuse me. Wow. I feel like this is another picture of mine, but these things all look alike. But that's cool. This has got to be Marcel, because there's a lot of light painting here, right? With the, I guess this would be a moon. It's got this moon glow across the frame. So I think, yeah, this is definitely a Marcel. Looks good. Raho, oh my God. Was not expecting that. I thought this was a Marcel image. Man. All right, let's see what else we got. Ooh, wow. Talk about some drama here. Excellent crop though. I like the crop. A little heavy on the contrast. It almost looks HDR. But oh, excuse me. Let's see who did this one. Really good crop. Image writer, good job. Good job. Little strong on the clarity slider or something. But other than that, pretty cool. Okay, yeah, we just saw this one. This is a fisheye. Interesting. Who sent this in? Jacob. Okay, Jacob. Whoops. Hit the wrong. Stop it. How do I go back? Where was I? I was on the fisheye picture. Okay. Okay, and a tiny bit of processing maybe, but not much. 6 weeks of winter is over, yes. Oh my God, look at those teeth. They're so orange. That's probably how they are in real life, but wow. Yeah, I'm with you on this. Who is this? Phil. Thanks, Phil. You're right. This image is perfect for like a corporate. What do you call it? Where is it where you send all your pictures in and companies buy them to use them? There's some business that people do that. Uh, I'm at a loss for words. What's that business called when you send your pictures in to sell them? But that, nobody does that much anymore because there's no money in it. I can't remember. Haven't seen your moment. What is that business called? Somebody's got to know. Um, stock photography. Yeah, this would make an awesome stock photography type image, and this is a really good example of how a company would use it, right? All right. Let's see. Um, okay. Interesting processing. Again, I think you were trying to work with the hues in the grass and bring those out. And you really did a good job separating the tones in the mountains. But then the sky is a little bit too dramatic. So we need to do brushing instead of, because it looks like these are global changes that's affecting everything. But I like everything from the mountains down, but the sky is just a wreck to me relative to the ground. Let's see. HKM. Okay, HKM. Nice. Like I said, I like everything from the mountains down, but the skies, the clouds just look, wow, pretty rough. Okay. Oh, look at this. Interesting. I'm guessing Marcel again, but I don't know. I shouldn't guess because this is interesting. You're using this blue green. I don't get this. This blue green. But I like the separation of the blue of the mountains with the grass. I like that part the best. Marcel, I knew it. I see when I stopped guessing, then that's when I would have got it right if I did. That's cool. This is a cool shot. This is a very interesting edit. I would have not have thought of this, especially mixing blue and green. You never think, you always try to do complementary colors, but somehow these colors they actually work together somehow. All right. Let's yeah, this is Marcel again because the framing's exactly the same. And then, it's Marcel's so good at light painting. I don't know how he gets away with this. But this is cool. This is interesting how you pulled all the color out of the grass, which is kind of like what it looks like when you try to take a long exposure of moonlight. It looks just like this. Yeah, it's part of the Blue Ridge Mountains, right? Um, these are actually the Great Smoky Mountains, but a little bit north are the Blue Ridge, I believe. This is nice. This is definitely Marcel. Yeah, good job, Marcel. Ooh, this is nice. You really changed the mood. I mean, not the mood, but the kind of the feel of this scene because the grass is all brown now. So that separates the mountains nicely, I think. I like this edit. Good job, John. Yeah, this has got kind of a vintage feel to it too, right? Like a vintage photo. Yeah, these are great. I like it. Wow. This is a full-on sky replacement, right? Because I get it, man. When you do global edits, it messes up the sky sometimes when you're trying to get the ground right. So this is cool. It it almost feels like It's almost looks natural. Almost. It looks like an HDR shot now. A little bit surreal. I have no idea who did this. Serge. Okay, Serge. Interesting. Serge does these crazy edits sometimes, you know? I like it though. Whoops. Oh, these two are the same. Black and white and tinted. A vertical crop. This is interesting. Going with the texture of the grass and the mountains. Really nice. Good editing on that part. Getting the tones out. And then this has got a green tint to it. Let's see. Oh, DeMorcan. Okay. Interesting crop. I would have never thought to go vertical. But it kind of works. It works if you get the tones right in the grass. I mean, it's not the picture somehow is still balanced, even though it I wouldn't have thought it would be, but it's more balanced. And then a wide crop, nice clean edit. I think I'd have pulled the saturation back a little bit on the greens, but it looks good. Let's see. Okay, nice, DeMorcan. Really good editing here. Very crisp. Yeah, I like all the tones in the mountains and everything. And that might be the last one. Yeah. And let me see. When did I take this picture? I'm gonna see if my edit's still in here. I took this no, I didn't take that March 30. Let me find one where the actual capture date is still in there. June 1st, 2018. So April, May, June would be this folder. And did I flag it? I did, but I didn't. That's not my final edit. Hold on. I don't think that's a different mountain. Here it is. This was my edit. I went black and white and super wide, right? Hold on. My other screen here got jacked up. Here we go. So yeah, I went black and white and super wide. I didn't really finish editing this, but that's what I did. It's very similar to one of the other edits you guys did. One of the early ones on. And here's some hardcore photographers from that trip. Look at the gear. They got these humongous gimbals. Can I punch in at all? No, I'm already cropped in. But they were taking pictures of bears and stuff. Well, anyway, this is not a photo chat session. This is a photo editing session, right? I think I got everybody's. Jack says you wanted to go super wide first, like 5:1, but then decided that the fisheye is a bit more creative. Yeah, definitely. I took so many pictures from this trip. This was my trip to the Great Smoky Mountains. I'd say at least 4 or 5 photos that I've given you guys were from this one trip to edit of my photos. So they probably look familiar. Is this a long exposure? No. Anyway, where's my, I changed my buttons around. Yeah, there we go. I did a little reorganizing of my scenes here too, so I think that we'll call it here. So thanks everyone for coming in today. I really appreciate it. Sending your images in for me to edit. Hopefully you liked a little bit of what I did and got some ideas maybe. And I always enjoy looking at what you guys do with my photo. I'll be back on Thursday for a normal photo chat. And I think what I might do is some people reached out, or who was it? Well, I'll talk about it on Thursday. Anyway, you guys have a good week. Thanks again for being here and taking time out of day to spend it with me. But we'll see you guys again soon. I have an end button somewhere. Is it this one? Nope. I don't know how to end a stream anymore. I reprogrammed my shortcut keys too for my streaming, and now I'm lost. It's not this one or this one, right? This is left and right. This is this view. Well, good way to end the stream, right? Is like you end a phone call. Just hang up. Here we go. Oh, Mr. Vacation has a question. All right. Why is RAW better? I have a video that explains it. The short answer is the photos have a lot more, because our photos are digital, right? So there's a lot more information saved in a RAW image than there is in a JPEG. So with that more information, you get higher dynamic range, more colors, and those are the two main things, dynamic range and color. So let me point you to a video where I talk about exactly that, where I compare RAW versus JPEG. It is episode number 255. Yeah, today's not my button key day, right, Morgan? But anyway, there you go, Mr. Vacation. There's a video you can watch on RAW versus JPEG that I did. And I've got a lot of compliments on it, so I guess it came out pretty good. I think it came out okay. I could have done a little better job, as always, but check that out. If you have any questions, just leave a comment in that video, and I'll do my best to answer it. All right, so where's my end button? I have no idea. How about this? No, this one. This is so ridiculous. I'm just gonna hang up the stream. I'll see you guys back on Thursday.